Okay, on part one, we were using this machine to drill out the holes to put the stiles and rails together on that mirror frame door. And I neglected to show you a little bit more about exactly how this machine works. So yeah, here you go. Here I'm going to show you how the foot pedal works and actually what's going on with this machine, right? Basically, there is a foot pedal down the bottom. And right now I don't have the air connected to it again, but when you step on the foot pedal, the first thing that happens is there's a piston here, and technically it's a hold down clamp. The first thing that happens when you step on the pedals, this piston will come down and it's going to hold and clamp into place whatever workpiece you're using, whether it's a stile, a rail, or anything that you want drilled. This is going to lock and hold it, all right, in place so that it won't get pushed out when the drills come. All right, the second step, which is all automatic, this whole motor assembly here with the drill chucks and all is on a carriage, all right, and it's pneumatically operated. In other words, there's air coming in here, and the air actuates the cylinders, which makes this whole carriage ride forward. And you can see down here the drill bit, whether it's 1, 2, 3, or 4 drill bits, depending on how many you're using for any operation. This whole carriage will come forward, it'll drill, it'll retract back again, the piston will release and go back up and let the piece loose, all right? So that's one step of the pedal. You don't step and hold on it, you just press it once. You just like touch it, and that sequence of events will happen, all right? Once you release the material, then you move it to the next index mark or stop or whatever you're using, and then it'll drill the second hole, third, fourth, or whatever. So yeah, and I have, there is one piston here. I actually have two, all right? If you're using both drills, both motors, and there's, I'll give you a close-up here, there's actually 2 chucks for each motor, all right? So I could put 4 clamps in here, but when I'm only using or 4 drill bits, rather. When I'm only using 1 or 2 drill bits in one motor, I usually take this out because it does get in the way, all right? Both of those will go down. You can turn them on and off, all right? But even though one might not be working, I might have it shut off so it's not jumping down and up. And sometimes it's in the way, or it's blocking my view of the index mark like I have right here. You see that index mark? It's already a little difficult to see it with the one piston here, and if I had the other one, it would be a lot more difficult to see. So that's the reason I take this off, and it's just a matter of 2 screws, right? These screws with the washers, you loosen them up and they just slide in and out of these little slots here, right? So, all right, now here I'm going to show, oh, here's the other drill chuck. I also took this out, all right? You can see there's 2 chucks, all right? So there's 2 drill bits that can go with this motor, and the other one is still on here and it's working with the right-hand motor. So again, you can turn one motor on, which will turn 2 drill bits, or you can turn both motors on and be using 4 drill bits at one time. In this case, I'm only using 1, so that's why, same with putting a platform on here. I've got several. This is 3/8. I've got some at 1/4, some are 1/2 inch, and some are 3/4 of an inch, so I could put different platforms on here, or sub-bases I call them, all right? And just put a couple clamps on here, and by doing that, I can consistently change the height of where the drill bit is entering into the material height-wise, without having to loosen the bolts underneath and turn a wheel that's down here, raising it, lowering it. And there's no index system. So if I do loosen the bolts and turn the wheel to get up or down, it takes a little bit of trial and error to get it back exactly where it was prior to that. So by using a table like this and just putting these on, I can always come back and just either put this on, not use it, or use one of the other sub-tables, and I know I'm always referenced exactly where I was the last time I drilled something in a particular thickness, all right? So, okay, yeah, I'm going to show you now. Let me move the camera over here so you can see what's happening down below. Okay, you can see down here, here's the foot pedal, all right? Basically, I'm just putting my foot inside here. I don't want to do it right now. I press my foot, and you just press down on a little pedal inside there, all right? This is just basically a shroud, a protective shroud, so you don't accidentally step on that. All right, but when you step on that pedal, up here you can see, here's the drill bit, all right? That's going to come forward and retract back Let me see if you can see it inside here. Here's the drill bit, all right? It's going to come through this hole, okay? And it's going to, after I clamp this little table on here, it's going to come forward. This piston's going to come down and clamp it. But basically, yeah, this is how my Ritter machine works. It's a Ritter horizontal boring machine. These are all things, I'll show you another video what all these things are. I actually had these manufactured specifically for me. And I had the steel plate put on here. I cut it out, and I had these drilled on a CNC machine, tapped out, so I could put all these retractable little stops on here, which you can see here. All right, they're retractable stops. All right, it's a really cool, I could take them and I could pull them and turn them and keep them out of the way if I want, or just turn them and release them back in again. All right, but basically you press against them and they go in real easy, so they're not really in the way of when I'm not using them, all right? These, I have all these all retracted back, but what they are, they're stops. You just, basically, you bring your door part or whatever up to it, you drill, you push in, you go to the next one, you drill, come up to the next one, and what that's doing, it's indexing where I'm drilling my holes without having to draw center lines, all right? But for this particular project, these centers don't work out for what I'm doing on this mirror frame, so I'm using a center line, all right, and I'm working to that, which I do quite often, all right. These are all set up for doing, like I said, entry and passage doors. This is the center rail, and these are for the top rail and the bottom rail, all right. But this is my machine. It's a Ritter, awesome machine. There's the foot pedal. So here we go. Let's go make some sawdust. What I'm doing is I'm making the rabbets. This is where the mirror will lay on here. The mirror is only 1/8 thick, and then there's going to be 3/8 plywood that rests on the back of that. All right. But when I was talking about the dowels, you can see if I tried to rabbet this out and then drill it afterward, it never would have worked. The dowel would have gone and jumped up in the air, would have deflected off of there. So, okay. Now I got to do the ends of the rails. And now I'm putting glue in the dowel holes. You have to be careful not to put too much glue, because what it'll do, I only have 1/8 inch play in the length of these dowels. In other words, the dowels are 1/8 of an inch shorter than the depth of the holes when the rail and the stile go together. So if I were to put too much glue in here, it would keep the stiles and rails from going, pulling up tight. And you don't want that to happen. And the other thing could happen, when you go to clamp it, there could be so much pressure from that glue it could split the stiles. And we don't want that to happen. So you want full coverage, but at the same time you don't want too much glue. Pops them right back up. It's like those things down the boardwalk where they keep popping up and you have to keep hitting them. And every time you hit them and pop them back down, you get a point. doing, if you find yourself out of square a little bit, you can put these clamps at a slight angle, and as you tighten them, it'll pull the frame square. When I measured the diagonals, I was longer here than I was here. That means I want to push this side down and that side that way. So by putting this to exaggerate on an angle like that, it's going to want to pull that up and this down. So let's see. Let's see how we did. Alright, that's within a 64th of an inch, so that's good. Let's see if we got our 64th of an inch. Okay, we have 65.5, dead center of the line. 65.5, 65.5, dead center on the line. Okay, we're good. Now I'm going to put some pins. Why am I doing that? I had 1-inch pins in here, and now I put 5/8 in. The 1 inch would go through and come out the face. So just in case there's one up in the driver there where I can't see, I usually shoot a couple. Wipe my lines off where I can't see it. Okay, we'll let this sit for a couple hours. We'll let it sit overnight, and we got enough other stuff to do, and I'll work on this tomorrow. Back here again. That's pretty much a wrap of what it took to build that shoe cabinet. I also have some footage on building a night table and a dresser. Well, the dresser, I have no footage of building that, the case itself, but I do have footage of building the drawers and installing those, so I'll show you that footage tomorrow. And the coffee table, basically I turned 3 legs, or 3 mahogany legs on my lathe, and I screwed those onto a round piece of plywood. I think I have some footage of that, I'm not sure. Alright, but I'll put up whatever I have. There'll be one more video showcasing the rest of this entire project, all the other 3 pieces put together. Alright, like I said, I didn't have time to get footage of everything, every aspect and all, but I'll give you as much as I have on that, and that's going to be a wrap. Tomorrow's video will be a wrap on that mid-century style furniture. Alright, I will show you, somebody asked in the comments if I had used my horizontal boring machine to drill those pocket holes in the bottom that you saw, how I assembled the case for that shoe closet. No, I did not use the horizontal. That does not drill pocket holes. I do have an industrial version of a Craig machine, which I use for drilling my pocket holes. It's a manufacturer called Castle, and it's a heavy-duty industrial machine just for, it can sit there 8 hours a day, 8-hour shifts all week long, all year long, just drilling without getting tired, all right? I have all the portable jigs that Craig has ever made since they first came out, their first metal one, and since that they've switched over to using plastic for all their portable jigs. And through the years I keep buying, every time they update those portable ones, I keep buying them because I find they do come in handy once in a while if I have to drill just 1 or 2 holes, or maybe getting into a position where I can't get a large piece onto the Castle machine. But pretty much all my production pocket holes are drilled utilizing this Castle boring machine. And I have a job coming up that I've got to use it, and I'll show you that on an upcoming video, all right? The same thing with the line board holes inside the shoe closet. You saw I have about a dozen shelves in there, and they all sit on clips that go into 5mm holes, which are on a 32mm center. All right, so I do have a heavy-duty production line board machine that drills 42 holes out of clip, 2 banks of 21 holes each, and it can drill either vertically or horizontal. But on this particular case, I'm using a Bloom machine. The Bloom machine is meant to drill, was initially produced to drill the 35mm holes for European style hinges, and the 2 8mm holes, or 5mm, depending on the chuck, and if you're using inserts, but for hinge mounting, all right? But they also have an attachment that you can put on there. It's a drill chuck head that holds 7 drill bits, and if you put 7 5mm bits in there, you can use it for line boring. It has these retractable spring bits on each end, so after you drill 7 holes, you can move your workpiece down, and using this spring-loaded center pin, you can relocate it so you can continue drilling a series of holes, always on 32mm centers. So yes, that's what I use to drill those shelf holes, and I'll show you that. The next job I'm working on, I've got to do some line boring, and it's only a few holes, so I will use that Bloom machine, and I'll give you a video footage of that, all right? So that'll show you how I do my line boring on a light duty case. Next kitchen I run at, where I'm going to be doing a lot of line boring, I will show you my, in fact it's a Powermatic. I have a Powermatic construction machine. Construction boring machine it's called, where it drills vertical and horizontal holes depending on the diameter of the bit you put in there. It could be a 5mm, 3mm, 5mm, 8, 10, all the way up to I think 12mm is the largest drill bits they make for the machine, all right, which I don't use often. If I have to drill holes bigger than 12mm, I'm pretty much using the Ritter machine for it. Okay, so that's it. That's a wrap on this video, and I'll look to see you tomorrow with the next video, maybe 2 days. Like I said, I'm going to try to get at least 3 to 5 videos a week up there. I can't promise every day, but I will try to get at least every week at least 3 to 5 videos up, all right? So let's go make sawdust on our next project. I hope you enjoyed this one, and yeah, I'm going to make sawdust right now. Bye all.